Another month has flown by in 2026, which means it's time for me to rank the 6 new releases that I have seen in the month of March. Before I dive into my ranking, if you would, go in the comment section, tell me what is your ranking of the new releases that released in March. There is one that I missed, They Will Kill You. I have not seen it in theaters. I still definitely plan on watching it, but it will not be included in this video because I have been incredibly busy this past week, haven't had time to make it out to the theater, but we got 6 movies to talk about here. I have reviews for, I think, 3 of them. 3 of 6, which is, like, I try to review every movie. It's been an incredibly busy month, as it is every single March for me. So, 3 of these movies I haven't reviewed, I'm basically talking about on the channel for the first time, except in an out-of-theater reaction. I've done that for 2 of those 3. One of them I just finished watching like 20 minutes ago before I sat down to record this video. With that said, let's dive right in with number 6, The Bride. One of my most anticipated movies of the year ends up being... It's bad. It's really, 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 really bad. And it's the type of bad that's like, oh, you walk out of the theater and you're like, oh, that's a bad movie. That's not a good movie. And then you get on Twitter, or you get on YouTube, and you tell your thoughts, and you get people being like, oh my god, you're just a misogynistic, you didn't like the movie because it's about a woman. And it's like, no, not even close. This movie is just chock full with ideas that never go anywhere. Somebody told me, they're like, you just don't like the movie because it's about women empowerment, you sexist. And I'm like, no, the women empowerment thing, the thing where, like, the women start to rise up, is in the movie for 5 seconds. And then we move on to the next thing. And then we move on to the next thing. And then we move on to the next thing. And it's just, it can't pick a lane. It has so many ideas, and none of them are fleshed out at all. That's just one of the issues. Now, I will say the movie is shot great. It looks phenomenal. I think the direction, it's not good, but it shows Maggie Gyllenhaal a lot of potential as a director. And obviously Jessie Buckley, who just won an Oscar for Hamnet, well deserved. And Christian Bale, who is awesome. They're both really good in the movie. But just besides the technical level, it's just nothing about the movie works at all. You got Jessie Buckley being told to be like, do the Mary Shelley thing. So like randomly we'll be having a scene where she's talking, and then she'll start talking in this stupid ass British accent going, oh, chip, chip, cheerio, mate, chip, chip. Oh, chicken wing, predator, computer mouse. I'm saying random things that are on my desk here because it's basically what she's doing is just saying random things, and it makes no sense. And her character, the bride, constantly in this movie is like, do I like Frankenstein? Nah, I don't like Frankenstein. I love Frankenstein. I hate Frankenstein. And she constantly changes her mind. It makes no sense. And so just the script in this movie is terrible. And if anything, you women should not be offended that people don't like this movie. Number one, because it's just a bad movie. There's not many people that like this movie. But it's just a bad movie in general. But also, the movie treats like men like we're all bad. I kid you not. There is like 2 men in this movie that aren't rapists. The rest of them just try to rape the bride. I guess that's what men are now. We're just terrible people. And, like, it didn't offend me, but, like, it offends me that people are getting offended when me, a man, doesn't like a movie because it's just a bad movie and are calling me a sexist, when in all reality, the movie is incredibly sexist, saying that men suck. What's going on? Pick a lane, people. That's exactly what this movie should have done, is pick a lane. And that's saying that this was on my most anticipated movies of the year list. I was very excited for The Bride. I walked in very optimistic. And I walked out wanting to die. So The Bride 2026 is not good. And I'm learning that I'm not really a big fan of the recent Frankenstein movies. Number 5, Hoppers. Now, to be clear, all the way down here, like right here. I'm trying to get it as low as I possibly can to where you can still see my hand. In fact, it's lower. You can't even see that. Hoppers is up here. I liked Hoppers. I don't have a review for Hoppers on the channel because I just didn't have much to say about the movie. I think the emotions in this one really do hit. It is a very emotional movie, and they do work for me. And I will say, the first 10 minutes of this movie rivaled the first 10 minutes of Up in the way that I was almost in tears just by the very beginning of this movie. When it's emotional, there are sequences that you tear up for. The animation is quite good. I love the voice cast. Dave Franco's in here just doing his best drunk guy impression, apparently, because he's absolutely insane. The movie goes insane places in the back half. But this is like one of those Pixar movies where I never fully felt like I was having a great time with it, like I did with a lot of movies, like a lot of the top tier Pixar movies. Where, like, as soon as we transform and we go into Animal World, it's just so chaotic and it's so fast-paced. And it's because the kids going to this movie are sitting there and watching the movie, and you gotta have something fast-paced to keep the kids interested. But for me, I wasn't as invested in it as I was when it was slower paced, more about the emotions of it all. And even when it gets really insane, does body horror stuff, it's stuff I appreciate, but it's never anything I fully enjoyed. And there was never a time where I'm fully like, oh, I really, really like this movie, except in the beginning. So Hoppers, it's good. Like, in my ranking so far, I have it right next to Shelter. Hoppers is where I'd start going positive. I'd go a positive score on Hoppers. But it's one of those Pixar movies that's like, it's never something I'm going to revisit. It doesn't have that same Pixar energy, and it gets a little bit too chaotic for me. Number 4, Undertone, another movie I don't have a review for, and I'm going to spend some time talking about this movie because I have some thoughts on the movie. When it's, or in the first 30 minutes, last 15 minutes, it is a pretty scary movie. It's one of those movies that's marketed as the scariest movie you'll ever hear, and it's not that, but it can be pretty scary. Certain sequences when they're just sitting down filming the podcast, like, it can be creepy. Some of the audio is very creepy. The final 30 minutes, the final 15 minutes and the first 30 minutes do have a very creepy atmosphere. I think the movie is shot really well. The cinematography is great. It does the long legs thing where, like, you put a character in an empty background and you're, like, looking around constantly thinking something is behind her. And while it was utilized so much better in Longlegs because there was shadows and creepy things behind her that genuinely still freak me out when I think about them, I will say that this movie never quite had that moment, but the movie is shot very well. And obviously, it's a sound design movie. The sound design in this movie is great. It distorts children's songs, some of the audio you listen to. One thing that I loved about this movie was a certain sequence where you're hearing, like, in the video, somebody, like, walking downstairs and you go up this, like, in real life, you go to the area of the house where it's happening in the audio you hear. It's hard to describe, but it is a very, very cool scene because it's like, you can't see the characters, but you're hearing what's happening, and the camera's showing you what's happening, but you can't see the characters. It's very, very cool. So, overall with Undertone, I enjoyed it. There were moments I was scared. Like I said, the final 15 got very, very freaky with certain images and such, and especially the audio. I was very frustrated overall leaving this theater because Undertone is a movie where when it's about filming the podcast and being scared, it can be effective. When you're not doing that, what else do you do? Well, I'll tell you what this movie does. We take our lead character. She sits at the bedside next to her comatose mother. Mommy! Mama! I'm so sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry. Oh, Mama, I'm getting a call. Oh, I'm going to go off to a party. Oh, doctor's calling. Hi, doctor. Oh, I'm pregnant? Cool. And then we go back to filming the podcast for like 10 minutes, and then it's just like, Mama, I'm so sorry. Needless to say, it's boring. It's not, like, the most boring thing. I was never fully uninvested, but, like, this would be a phenomenal short film where you cut out all of that. It just feels like stuff that's padding the runtime, and it can be quite boring. My brother was almost put to sleep out of this movie because it is just that slow. When it hits, but it is so slow. And I will say that our lead actress doesn't do a very good job. It's very hard to act as one person. The only person you talk to throughout the movie is a comatose patient and, like, somebody you can't even see. And so I feel like whether it's the script or her acting that I didn't really vibe with the performance, and the character herself is not only stupid, she's just really unlikable in the things that she does. What she does in this movie is she's talking to Justin, who's her podcast co-host, and like they're listening to this really creepy audio, and she's like, Justin, it's clearly fake. You're an idiot. And Justin's like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of freaking out. She's like, quit being such a pussy, Justin. And she's just that kind of person. And like, before they even start filming, Justin's like, you know what? Can I come down? I can come down. I can help you out a little bit. And she's just like, no, Justin, you shut your mouth and you stay right there. And he's like, whoa, chill, girl. And it's like, well, why are you being so unbelievably unlikable? And she is just, like, you don't enjoy being around her, and she's so stupid. Dude, like, she's listening to this audio, and weird things start to happen in her life, and she's like, Justin, you're an idiot. This stuff is fake. And she's, like, having weird dreams where, like, random demons are popping out of her. Random lights are turning on in her house. One point, a light in her mom's room in the closet turns on, and you can see something that looks like an eye just, like, peeking around the corner, like, hi. And she's just like, goes, walks over, shuts the door. Yeah, no big deal. And, like, I'd be out of that place unbelievably quick. I would leave as soon as, like, that happened. She films a podcast sitting here with all the lights off in her house, and is just like, nothing's happening. It's completely fine. And she is just an idiot. So, there is that. She is just not a very smart person. And so I don't really enjoy spending time around her. Plus, like, the movie is slow. It never loses me. When it's on, it's on. But overall, Undertone is an incredibly flawed film. And a couple hours later, I'm back. Yeah, it was like 1 second for you guys. But I went to the St. Louis Cardinals baseball game, because I live in St. Louis, because they were playing my New York Mets. So, a couple hours later, before I dive into my top 3 of March of 2026, if you would, please, again, tell me your ranking of every March new release in the comment section. While you're down there, if you didn't mind, hit the subscribe button. It's completely free. Trying to get to 300 by July. And hit the bell so you never miss another review. We got Super Mario coming out this weekend. We got more Daredevil that just released a couple hours ago that reviews are coming very soon for. So, just do me a big favor. Hit the subscribe, hit the bell. It would really mean a lot to me. And number 3, kicking off our top 3, is Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. Ready or Not is my favorite radio silence movie. I saw it for the first time in preparation for this movie. I adored it. I thought the characters were lively. Every sequence always threw something fresh and original at you to always keep you invested. You never felt like the movie was getting stale. It's carnage candy at its best. That movie rocked. And I feel like this is a movie that once, like, you watch it, you share the same opinion of everybody else. Like, it's a fun movie. It is really fun. It has fun sequences. It has fun carnage candy. You love the characters with Samara Weaving and Catherine Newton have great chemistry. Elijah Wood is great in here. Sarah Michelle Gellar's in here as well. And so it is a very fun cast. But you take the cast, it's not as strong as that original movie. And then you take the sequences with the carnage candy and, the people getting blown up and just the wild, wacky stuff. It's fun, but it's not as fun as the original movie. And so while it is a good watch, while you do enjoy watching the movie, you leave the movie and, like, the first thought you think is like, yeah, that was good. I love the original. Why wouldn't I watch the original if I ever wanted to rewatch this kind of movie again? You look at the final 30 minutes here, and those are awesome. I love the final 30 minutes. It's where it did something fresh, original, created a way to end the franchise in a satisfying way while also being absolutely insane. That's when I thought the movie was really fun. There is a fantastic needle drop here in the middle of the movie. I don't think we need another Ready or Not movie. Absolutely not. No more Ready or Not films. I feel like it started to get a little bit stale the more this movie goes along. But I enjoyed this movie. I like the new lore that we learn. And while I do feel like it is very exposition heavy, which the first movie was not, I still like the new lore and I like the look. So overall, like Ready or Not 2, I enjoyed. I had a really good time with the movie. But, like, take the first film and this movie is just everything that movie had, but significantly worse. I probably won't ever rewatch this movie because if I ever want to rewatch a Ready or Not movie, I'm rewatching the original Ready or Not. My runner-up for the month of March, Mike and Nick and Alice. Heck of a title there. This was a movie that debuted at South by Southwest. I've never heard of it in my life. South by Southwest is my favorite film festival that I've never gone to. It's just that film festival that, you know, every time a movie releases in that festival and I hear about it, I'm like, that sounds really interesting. I've seen like a lot of movies I love because creators that I follow went to that festival and watched. And this is one that I heard the premise. Two Vince Vaughns. It's a time travel movie. And I was like, you know what? That sounds like it's 100% for me. So I finally watched it, well, 20 minutes before I began filming this video. It was like 5 hours ago now. But I had a good time with it. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But overall, I liked the movie. I thought it was good enough. You love the cast here, the chemistry between Vince Vaughn, James Marsden, and Eliza Gonzalez. They all four had fantastic chemistry. The best parts of this movie are where you're just hanging out with these characters, and it is so fun. Like, it's so fun. It can be consistently funny. You got Jimmy Tatro in this movie, and he is just absolutely awesome, a complete hoot throughout this entire movie, that I laughed out loud numerous times with him, and just the chemistry, the dialogue, I had a really good time with it. Some of the action isn't great, but a lot of it is good. I think the final big action sequence was like really fun, kind of John Wick-esque, if you ask me. It's a time travel movie. I enjoy the time travel movies. I enjoyed the twists, the turns that we went along here. And it's just this kind of movie that you turn on. It's a streaming movie. Like if I went out, spent like $30 to go watch it at the theater, I probably would have a different opinion. But because I sat right there on my couch, watched it on my TV for completely free, I had a really good time with it. And it's a must check out at home. Like, it is a very fun movie. Does it have issues? Absolutely. There is moments where we get too exposition heavy and it drags down the movie. The script itself is really rough. It constantly makes up new rules in the film for the film to follow so we can get to a certain point. Like, all of a sudden, it'll be like, oh, we have a problem? Well, here's just this thing that we didn't know of earlier in the movie that could have helped us out to begin with, that nobody's ever heard of, that is just all of a sudden randomly here now. And, just so many plot contrivances. There are moments where the film drags. I don't think, the film story is as near as compelling as, hanging out with the characters, and I definitely think the movie gets a little bit predictable by the time you get to the ending. I knew exactly how it was going to end, and then when it kind of threw in a twist in there, I just didn't like it, because yet again, it was the script throwing in something random to completely, fix the movie that, nobody's ever heard of earlier in the movie, and it kind of just erased everything that we learned about the film up to that point. But, I had so many issues with this film, but overall, it's hard to be mad at it, because I sat there on my couch. It's a fun movie with a fun premise, a very fun cast, some solid action sequences. I had a really, really good time with the movie. It's just a movie that I recommend you sit down and watch at home. I will say my biggest issue with the movie is sometimes there's this really bad shot where it's kind of glitchy, slow-mo, super slow-mo. It's hard to explain. It looks really dumb. You watch the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And it cuts to it 5 or 6 times. It looks completely stupid. But another bonus, when we do a flashback sequence to learn some of the lore, it's in black and white. And I thought that was a really nice touch in the movie as well. So, Mike and Nick and Alice, it's good. It's a movie that you should definitely sit at home and watch, despite its many flaws. It's a movie that I'd say, yeah, mom and dad, sit down, watch it, you'll have a good enough time with it. But easily, and really not even close, my number 1, and currently my number 2 on the year is Project Hail Mary. This is a film that I didn't adore like a lot of people did. It's probably not going to be in my top 10 of the year. But, it is a great movie. On a technical aspect, it is just phenomenal. The cinematography is wonderful. The score, that's the thing that I'll be most offended about, is if the score doesn't get nominated for an Oscar, because, the score is booming. It brings the emotions. The score is wonderful. And the cinematography, you see certain screenshots on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever, and like the movie looks spectacular. You see those screenshots and you haven't seen the movie yet, you're like, I kind of want to watch this on the biggest screen possible. And I saw it in IMAX. Like, this is a movie where like just how beautiful the movie looks kind of brought me to tears. Because like I'm a massive lover of movies, and this is a movie that just looks absolutely gorgeous. You got Ryan Gosling here, and for most of the movie, he is actually alone or with a CGI alien or practical effect alien at some points. But like he's great in the movie. Ryan Gosling is awesome. His chemistry with Rocky is hilarious. Speaking of Rocky, Rocky is genuinely hilarious. And speaking of the movie being hilarious, this movie is very laugh out loud. It's emotional. It's funny. It brings all the emotions. It looks gorgeous. This movie would have been perfect if it was a 2-hour long movie. Throughout the film, it always constantly makes up something else why the movie has to keep going on. So, like, we got Ryland's life at stake numerous times, Rocky's life at stake numerous times, and it's just like, oh, we finally are about to save the world, and then boom, something else comes up. And oh, we're finally about to save the world, and something else comes up. And at that point, it starts to get really repetitive, and there were times the movie did lose me. Of course, the movie always won me back. There's a really good twist in the final 30 minutes of the film that flips the whole movie on its head. But like, 2 hours long would have been perfect for this movie. If, you know, like there's a certain point I was like, oh, we're getting to the end. And then the movie had like essentially another hour long left. And I was like, okay. And every time that happened, which was like 3 times, it feels like the movie has 3 endings. I was like, okay. Starting to wane my interest just a little bit more. But Project Hail Mary, still a great movie. Not only on a technical aspect, but like, despite my whining, it is a very great movie. Really entertaining. I really enjoyed Project Hail Mary. And while I don't love it like a lot of other people do, it is definitely worth your time to see on the big screen. And it is definitely my favorite movie in the month of March. Alright guys, thank you for clicking on my March 2026 movies ranked. Tell me down below again in the comment section, what is your ranking of every movie released, or the new releases that you saw released in March of 2026? And with that said, subscribe.